Hello, my name is William Dager, and I will be presenting this ad for my visual artifact. The person responsible for this ad is John Romero. For those who don't know who he is, Romero is a game designer and co-founder of id Software, who is best known for creating video games, most famously Doom 1 in 1993 and Quake 1 in 1996, relatively early in his career. Romero has always been seen as a creative, independent minded game designer, someone who wanted to make a game that followed a vision without compromise. Filled with confidence after the popular and financial success of Doom and Quake 1, he decided to leave id Software and create his own studio, Ion Storm, to create a new game, Daikatana, a first person shooter game that he thought would revolutionize the gaming world. As a lead up to the release of this game, he and his marketing team placed this ad in several top gaming magazines. The ad was a risk, of course, and it ended up coming back to haunt Romero. What led Romero and his marketing team to such a big failure? One factor was that he was no longer working with his partner, John Carmack, co founder and lead programmer of id Software, with whom he made the original Doom. Carmack was much more technical and tended to be more careful about both marketing and game design and execution. Romero felt he was being restrained creatively by Carmack. Romero had also had a very big ego because of Doom and Quake's success, and this is part of what led to his downfall. He was basically saying to himself, hey, I am having a great creative vision that I'm really having fun with, and therefore it's going to make a great game, Daikatana. But he was dead wrong. It was very unpolished and didn't run well on the platforms it was released on. The game's story was either non existent or nonsensical, and the whole game seemed to be designed to mess with the player. There's a fine line between teasing or messing with a player that can be cheeky and fun. Romero crossed that line so far that he created something in Daikatana that was far more frustrating than fun, while also inflating expectations about the game through the ad. Like all advertising, it was intended to spark interest in a new product and boost sales. The main text of the ad, John Romero's about to make you his bitch, with the subtext at the bottom, suck it down, was obviously designed to be provocative. And it was. The text is in black against a bright red background. The letters are made to look like the raised letters of a metal street sign, and there are black scuff marks, all trying to convey a kind of rough and rugged reality to the message. The color of the background is not only eye catching, but invokes the visual language of a caution or a warning sign. It was a full page ad that ran in several printed magazines, most of them gaming or tech oriented. The essential intended effect was that the reader would turn the page and be hit by it visually and linguistically. It was meant to not be attention grabbing, but memorable and funny, an ad that would get people talking. Tone is an important aspect, and one that seemed to be misjudged. It was meant to be both humorously shocking, mimicking the smack talk language that gamer guys and guys in general in most kinds of competitions would use with each other as they're kidding around. But at the same time, it was meant to seriously convince the viewers of the ad with this basic argument subtext. You know me. I make great games before. This really is going to be an amazing game, and you have to have it. I'm so convinced that's going to be great that I'm going to crow about it in the most in your face way possible. At the bottom of the sign slash image, to the left and right of Suck It Down are the word Eidos, the publisher of Romero's game, and Ion Storm, the name of the new development team that he created. But in the end, instead of being read as a kind of alpha male gamer joking arrogance, the ad struck most gamers as simple arrogance. The fact that it took 3 more years for Daikatana to actually be released made the ad all the more problematic. Then, when the game finally did become available in 2000, the massive pre-hype and subsequent delays were compounded by poor reviews. Daikatana was critically panned with negative reviews and appeared on numerous top 10 worst games listings. The ad later took on a life of its own as a meme that has continued to the present day among gamers. The reception of both the ad and the game has been going on for years onward. John Funk, in an Escapist magazine article in 2010 entitled John Romero Apologizes for Trying to Make You His Bitch, said, for almost a decade, Ion Storm's Daikatana has been the example of industry waste, arrogance, and incompetence, as well as a universal punchline for things that suck. The shooter was supposed to be an epic vision, the masterpiece of John Romero, the mastermind behind genre-defining Doom and Quake. Then it came out in May of 2000, and it sucked. The arrogance and hubris that crippled Daikatana has been well chronicled over the years. But none of it is quite as infamous as the ad, John Romero's about to make you his bitch, suck it down. Funk goes on to say, it was a pretty ballsy statement in itself, but after the game's failure simply became laughable. Funk quoted Romero in the interview afterwards. You know, I never wanted to make you my bitch. Not you, not them, not any of the other players, and most importantly, not any of my fans, said Romero. Up until that ad, I felt I had a great relationship with the gamer and the game development community, and that ad changed everything. I regret it and I apologize for it. I knew it was risky and I didn't want to do it. It didn't make sense. I mean, there's a whole culture of smack talk that goes with the games, and especially the first person shooter. And that was something I was known for. Romero saw that the combination of all the flaws in the game made the poor choices in the ad even worse. While the game could have been better on a number of levels, that ad and the hype that preceded and followed it was clearly a marketing failure. Romero basically tried to reframe it as a momentary lapse of judgment. The ad insulted nearly everyone who read it. It was a terrible marketing decision. I apologize for letting it loose in the first place. I should have stopped it. Showing just how long the failure of the ad and the game have persisted, in 2018, Sergio Agudo wrote in an article, We All Made John Romero a Bitch, said, it was perceived as arrogant by gamers who didn't have to know who this John Romero guy was, and the response affected the game. Agudo quotes marketing analyst Neil Steinberg, if you have arrogance, it makes the flop puff up. We love nothing more than to see the hottie brought down, and everybody seemed to enjoy what was happening. Thus, the advertisement was, in certain ways, more serious than it might have seemed. When you first see it, you tend to think, surely this is a total joke. But when you learn more about Romero and his whole attitude towards his audience slash gamers, then you begin to realize that in his mind, it probably wasn't a joke. That he did in fact think he was making a game that would completely captivate players and blow their minds. Although he was apologetic for the ad and game in 2010, in 1997, Romero was flying high on the success of Doom 1 and Quake 1. And it seemed pretty clear that at the time, he felt he could do no wrong. Ironically, the bitch ad became famous for the same reason that the Hindenburg did. It was a total disaster and one that was brought on and made worse by the alpha male arrogance of the ad. All right, I hope you found that interesting. And for questions, I would like to ask these 4 questions that are appearing right now. What were you thinking when you saw the ad for the first time? What do you think the general reaction was when the ad launched? Do you think the ad would have gone better if Daikatana was a good game? And do you think that this kind of ad with this kind of language would work today? All right, I want to say thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.